Hey, what's up everyone? It is the one and only Tiana here once again, and ladies and gentlemen, we're now approaching onto the sunny beach. Because after all, that we've almost at the summer season, even though mind you that we're on the 5th month of the year already, so we're still waiting by the forms of the most amazing weather conditions as far as later on goes. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for some more of Let's Play of Mario Party 4 for the Nintendo GameCube. So, remember last weekend is the fact that we actually did manage to tackle through the 5th board, oh no, sorry, the 4th board in Mario Party 4, which appears to be by the forms of Goomba's Greedy Gala. And, yeah, that was actually an interesting game to say the least, especially noticeable that we did manage to become richer that time. And, yeah, today for this episode, and especially tomorrow for the majority of this weekend, is the fact that we're going to be hit on to the 5th board in Mario Party 4, known as Koopa's Seaside Soiree. And basically, this is almost like a sunny beach kind of vibe to it. Or it does almost remind me of Yoshi's Tropical Island for a small extent, except the fact that it does not have 2 star spaces. So, anyways, here's the main emphasis on the forms of Koopa's Seaside Soiree, is that we have ourselves these little boardwalks, as you can see right there, or these docks, I should say, that each have the different kind of fruits to them. Like we have the watermelon as well as the pineapple, and especially noticeable there's an orange one seen there as well. If you land on the happening spaces, you're able to actually traverse for the actual same exact dock, depending on what fruit you land on. So yeah, that's as far as I can say about it. And if you land on these happening spaces right there, I'll get to more on that in a moment, because even then though, taking notice from the Koopa Bank space from Mario Party 2 and Mario Party 3, that we have ourselves a classic Koopa Bank fashion, that every time you bypass that little Koopa mark, basically you're forced to able to pay 5 coins in the actual Koopa's construction bit. And it's only for 5 coins, just like the forms of how it does it previously, except that if you try to land on the happening space, something bad will happen. Is that not only does Koopa's construction bit able to actually be deserted thanks to the forms of the tidal wave, but also get this, is that you're forced to pay the amount of coins, depending on how much coins you'll be spending on that little Koopa Bank section. And because of this though, you really want to avoid that happening space at all costs though. Especially noticeable that, well, unless if you're very lucky, if you're trying to land the most insane amount of those happening spaces as you could. But, oh sweet, we have ourselves the final minigame that will show off in the 4-player minigames, which appears to be Bob-omb Breakers. So, hopefully we should be able to play this now. So, connect 3 like shapes to make them disappear. Remember, you can also play in other people's areas. First one to 100 points wins. So, it's kind of like Mario's Puzzle Party, except rather than just trying to deal with the actual forms this time around, all these little colorful blocks, instead, we now need to able to actually deal with not only Bob-ombs, to able to actually cause an explosion if you're trying to surround the Bob-ombs, but also you can now finally able to actually play around with anyone else's arena. So it makes everything else a little bit more exciting to say the least. In fact, this is probably my second favorite minigame in the entire game, mainly due to the fact that, well, as far as I'm aware, is the fact that you can able to go everywhere else. And plus, in addition to that though, is the fact that it just makes everything else a little bit more of a chaos of any sort, and somehow feels like a mayhem or something. But either way though, that's as far as I can say about it. And yes, much like Mario's Puzzle Party Pro, or Mario's Puzzle Party, that basically is the fact that you were able to build up more combos, and then the more combos you were able to do, the better value you points you were able to get. And yes, just like in Mario's Puzzle Party, is that your ultimate goal is to try to aim for 100 points, and that's pretty much about it. So, again, it's very similar to Mario's Puzzle Party and Mario's Puzzle Party Pro, that, except the noticeable differences now is the fact that there wasn't any single-player version of this minigame this time around, which, I have no idea why it doesn't actually have the single-player version of this minigame whatsoever, but it knows what it is. So even then though, and it looks like I reached for about 103 points, so top-notch for my puzzle skills. So a few things I want to explain about this point today. As I said this before, that we're on to the 5th month already in terms of 2021. And because of this though, today's day is of course the 1st of May in 2021. And we only got about a month left actually until some exciting news will happen. Specifically for the E3 2021 digital events. So, such as for instance, you know, with Nintendo stuff, which I'm really looking forward to it. Especially noticeable just to see if there's any brand new titles they're able to actually reveal. Especially noticeable with the forms of, well, you know what I mean. And also to top it off, the forms of, well, just, I'm assuming that Miitopia is also gonna come out during this month as well. Even though, despite the fact that I, haven't got the 3DS version or anything else like that. But I might give this a pass, though, from my honest experience to me, though, just because, well, it is okay, I suppose, but I probably should able to focus on, you know, still trying to pre-order both Mario Golf Super Rush, and especially noticeable with the forms of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword HD. In fact, recently today, I managed to pre-ordered Mario Golf Super Rush recently, so even and I'm really looking forward to that though, and especially noticeable that during recently today as well, that I've recently managed to play through new Pokemon Snap recently today for the Nintendo Switch, and I actually really enjoyed this kind of game, so because of that though, yeah, certainly is the most recommendable Pokemon spin-off ever, just because, well, obviously for one thing, I found the visuals looks absolutely spectacular to look at, although some usually they manage to able to say that it's definitely a lot better when it comes to the actual in-game graphics and stuff like that compared to, you know, the Pokemon Sword and Shield graphics, because they more accurately might able to be like some sort of like a Nintendo 64 game, or basically they come straight onto the 3DS's graphical engine, which it might be seems a little bit out of place for the Switch console, but usually as far as I can tell, that hopefully by that time until likely Brilliant Diamond remake as well as Shining Pearl remake as well, that they're able to actually just make the visuals slightly better than the forms of how it does it on Sword and Shield, at least as far as I'm concerned. Oh yeah, something's worth mentioning though is the fact that, you remember the forms of the Oh I Missed voice clip from Wario most likely in Mario Party 1 and Mario Party 2 as well, that apparently though, Peach is now saying "Oh I missed" this time around though, so I think that could be also applies for Mario Party 5 as well, even though I'm rarely able to actually hear that, so even though I might have able to actually just to hear that or something, so anyway, so it looks like Yoshi's gonna go on to the orange dock as what he was about to be entering into right now, so yeah, that might be seems a little bit obvious. Out of all the actual boards in Mario Party 4, this is perhaps one of my least favorite boards in the game. It's nothing bad or anything, far from it. Like I do, like I said before, I really like the actual atmosphere of this entire board so far, because it's almost like it almost inspires by the holiday summer vacation or something. But the problem with this board usually consists of, well, I don't mind some of the other features, like bringing back the Koopa Bank fashion, you know, the old style of that specific mechanic, like every time you're able to go for that Koopa face icon, then you're able to actually force to pay 5 coins each time whenever you go into that specific section. And you just have to make sure you don't land on the happening spaces, because you're forced to pay a lot of coins if you manage to go that way, so... But the most annoying things about this board to me though is those docks with dolphins, because most of the time you have no option to either select yes or no, and because of that though you're forced to able to go onto the other side of the board, or in this case on the other side of the actual dock, and it's, well, you have no option between yes or no. And also, there's this very annoying, frustrating mechanic on this board, which appears to be this little Nuki Banana Junction point. That we'll get to that as soon as when someone else might able to make it for this point. And especially noticeable that the next star is actually almost right near to me. So I was expecting if I was going to be extremely lucky at this point, but we'll see what happens there. We'll see what happens during at some point in the next few turns, or something for that matter. So So as you can tell on screen, I'm going to be playing as Donkey Kong on this board, because why the heck not? And also worth noting for is the fact that since I'm feeling incredibly bad for DK, that after all that he was in 4th place, ever since in Goomba's Greedy Gullah, in the forms of the last weekend, because basically I was able to play as him. So, of course this will be the last Mario Party game. Well, it wasn't until in, well, technically a little bit in Mario Party 5, but that was on the, one of those modes in that game. And, it wasn't until completely until Mario Party 10 roll around for the Wii U, then, basically Donkey Kong will be playable once again. So even then though, like, I mean, it usually is gonna take about, like, 13 whole years since when Donkey Kong finally makes his playable debut, a massive comeback, after Mario Party 4. So, yeah, it's a bit of a long drought when it comes to DK playable fans, so... And of course, they'll bring him back as playable again until Star Rush, and especially noticeable in Super Mario Party, the most recent Mario Party game at the moment. Although, mind you, the only exception being the top 100, just because, well, they somehow managed to ditch him once again, except the fact that because you need to compete against with DK in the forms of some of these 2 minigames based off from Mario Party 7, so usually by the forms of, you know, Jumpman and Vine Country. Oh yeah, here's the main annoying moments in this board. You have like a 50-50% chances in between up and down routes in that particular New Keys Banana Junction point. And again, as I said before, it's a 50-50 chance or 50% chances in between you can either go up or down. And here's the thing, it's incredibly random at most of the time. And especially noticeable that it doesn't help that you can't choose it because only the New Keys were saying like, let me choose which one of the pathways you go into. And if you're about to try to go after a star or something, that means it'll pretty much guarantees to lead you to a bit of frustration, which as a result of that specific stuff, that's, it's bad enough that, if you're trying to use the Mega Mushroom on that specific sections, you can't actually ignore the actual monkey's business, so you always have to be forced to able to actually go for that event. Now, after all, though, it's just the fact that, well, it's just pretty annoying if you're trying to able to ignore these particular sections, but nope, you can't able to actually bypass them if you're in Mega form. Although, mind you, luckily for the other events, such as, of course, the Koopa Bank spots, as well as the massive tidal wave, you can able to actually skip these if you get yourselves a good rolls with not only for the normal dice block, but also the Mega Mushrooms as well. So, and as far as computer players I managed able to bring back is both Yoshi and Peach ever since in Boo's Haunted Bash, and also I managed to bring back Daisy after the events of Goomba's Greedy Gullah. So, and if you're probably wondering, what about Mario, Luigi, Wario, and Waluigi, if you're probably wondering? Well, yes, much like the forms of Mario Party 3, and also Mario Party DS, and Mario Party 9, Mario Party 10, Super Mario Party, and already mentioned Mario Party DS, and also Island Tour, and Star Rush for certain boards, and the top 100 in a minigame match, and that's pretty much about it. I usually manage to always save the Hat People players in the finale boards in any other Mario Party game. So this will able to actually continue that tradition until whenever we get on to Mario Party 5, 6, and even 7 and 8. So that might be seems a little bit of a part of a plan, don't you think? And it seems to be more specifically that we're pretty much almost at the halfway point in terms of redo Mario Party games Let's Play wise, because, well, obviously we still have already managed to accomplish every single ND Cube Mario Party titles at this rate, but we still got a whole ways to go when it comes to Hudson Soft Mario Party games. Like, I know we've already done Advance, DS, and especially noticeable with, well, let's just say new forms of, Mario Party 1, 2, and 3. So, relatively speaking, it's the fact that we're pretty much almost nearly at the end of the entire series. Even though, mind you, we still got a whole lot of parts to go through, especially noticeable how the fact that depending on the actual uploading schedules has been going, and, yeah, that's pretty much as far as I can say about it. So either way though, yay, we win, and Yoshi's jumping for joy, nonetheless. And meanwhile, DK was actually going to impress himself by able to actually show some cool muscles that he's got. So yeah, that's as far as I can usually say about this. And I think that pretty much summarized the actual main board design it looks like for, you know, Koopa's Seaside Soiree. Except the fact that, well, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. What do you think about Mario Party 4? Like, is it was as good as the forms of the past 3 titles? Or it does have some bit of rough around the edges most of the time, even especially noticeable that, well, the visuals do look nice, well, specifically for the opening intro cutscene and stuff like that, except for those dodgy animations at the beginning. But every once in a while, though, the animation does look very, very good, even on the CGI opening. And as far as the in-game visuals, as far as I'm concerned, well, it does have some very low textures every once in a while, which it might be seems a little bit true these days now, and especially noticeable with the forms of some pretty weird water textures here and there, which even then, though, at least as far as I can usually just try to say about this for the most part, so... And Peach got a double 6, so that means she'll get 10 coins, and the movements that she's got in total is, of course, 12. So, expecting that she would able to actually move forward instantly. Well, at least to be more specifically, she lands on the red space. Poor you, Peach. Poor you. Alright, let's see if I can get a good roll. 4 might be okay, at least assuming if I somehow got screwed by that, you know, that happening space. Even though, mind you, I've only have to force to pay 10 coins, and this what happens right there. The whole thing is entirely wiped out, so because of that though, yeah, he has to go for a start from scratch, so yeah, that's how the actual happening space does in that specific section. And I think I remember a little bit of time that, I don't know if you noticed, but back in the forms of 2012, that despite the fact that the original Let's Play of Mario Party 4 is no longer there on our channel anymore just because of bad quality, bad commentary, and you name the rest, that I remember that one time that Chip got annoyed by the forms of that illness that he got, back in 2012 that is. I'm pretty sure it's specifically bad coughs or cold. Well, if I recall correctly, it will be bad coughs to be more specific, so... Or even the actual cold or something, even though it has been a really, really long time since I actually remember some specific stuff. But either way though, let's not get ahead of ourselves because, thankfully though, I'm still feeling very, very good at this point, guys. I mean, I'm gonna tell you for this point right now, I'm still feeling pretty well, and no flus or anything else like that, thankfully. So even though I'm quite chuffed about this, so... Anyways, here we go on to Team Treasure Trek once again, except now I'm going to be teaming up with Daisy. So because of that though, we just have to... Oh, this is the wrong way. Which I wasn't paying attention for, but hopefully we would be able to backtrack for a little bit, but for its time anyway. So, I suppose there's not much else I can honestly try to say in terms of the forms of today's discussion, although... Another thing I just want to point out, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day, that, are you still excited when it comes to the forms of Nintendo E3 2021? Because you know that we are very glad that Nintendo E3 stuff is back ever since during the forms of, well, since 2019. You can actually see Peach and Yoshi in the background while we're able to celebrate opening up the treasure chest or something like that. That seems kind of interesting for that little camera angle right there. So, because of this though, I think I've already mentioned about this before, and even Sonic has already mentioned about that ever since in, you know, Rayman Raving Rabbids TV party and stuff like that. So, yeah, there's not much else to tell for this point. So, we're on turn 6, so... We're slowly getting there, even though that despite it might take a while to able to finish this board sometimes, most notably because of the forms of too many emphasis on, you know, Koopa Banks, and also same applies to the forms of some occasional happening spaces. You know, as much as I usually despise the forms of those dogs in this particular board, because you have no option to able to select no or yes, to be more specifically. But apart from those side of things, though, it's just the fact that it just feels kind of annoying. But at least on the upside is, though, is that the music is really, really nice, especially noticeable. It's kind of nice to listen to. And that's as far as I can say in terms of the forms of Koopa's Seaside Soiree. Even though, mind you, that this is the PAL version of the game, that the actual E letter actually got like some sort of like a little bit of a mark on top of it, whilst compared to the forms of the NTSC counterparts, basically that the E letter is basically just normal. So yeah, there's not much else to say. So alright, I can't really tell of which direction I'm going to be going into. It could be either up or down, if depending on the forms of that stupid luck chance comes in, and I'm going up. So I think that should be alright. And by that time, once I win the next minigame, if depending if I don't get myself a bad roll or anything else like that, then I'm also able to get my chance to get my next 3rd star. So, again, there's not much else to say, apart from the fact that, well, I'm still usually going to be hyped about the forms of next month, because of course E3 is now finally back. Even though we still haven't heard by the forms of Sega stuff just yet, though, especially noticeable that most Sonic fans will be like, "Aw, man, we really hoping until when Sonic gets his own stuff." Or to be more specifically, Sonic needs to able to celebrate his 30th birthday around that time, because if it doesn't, then basically it'll become very similar to 2015 or something like that. Or to be more specifically, even worse than the forms of last year was. Because you remember how the forms of last year has turned out, it's actually pretty terrible. Well, at least we got ourselves the movie though, at least, which I certainly found that to be a good film, nonetheless. But at least it does manage to do it so well for the box office, you know. So, anyway, another thing I want to explain is the fact that, actually, to be honest with you, there's not much else I can honestly try to talk about, apart from the fact that, well, usually relatively speaking, it's just the fact that, well, you know, I'm really excited and all that stuff, and feeling quite chuffed about the forms of today's uploading schedule for this point. And somehow I lost this stupid minigame right there, making waves, just because, well, again, it is a bit because even then though, it's just the fact that the actual timing on the forms of the Team of Three's ground pounding, it needs to be absolutely perfection if you really want to win the minigame in a Team of Three. And, well, I just simply can't win this because it's just... I just found that to be a kind of underwhelming minigame in my opinion for making waves. Even though it does remind me of a little bit on Piranha's Pursuit from Mario Party 1 / the Top 100 version, just because the Team of 1 does have a lot of advantage on that, and the Team of 3 does have a lot of disadvantages, so... at least as far as I can say about that. And by the way, here's the actual mini game right here, that basically is called Fish Fetch, and basically, depending, you can either choose either the 3 fishes you want to go for, and depending on how the size of these fishes all actually look like, so in this case that Yoshi gets a medium-sized fish, this means he got like 10 coins, and that's pretty much how that goes. And if you grab a larger fish, you get a big amount of coins, and if you grab the small fish, then you're pretty much guaranteed to get yourselves lesser amounts of coins for surely, so... Alright, so let's see if I can get ourselves a low roll. I would prefer 1, just because, well, I really refuse to get 2, because otherwise that will happen right there. Alright, so let's see, what is it gonna be? Of course, it's Mini Bowser, and to make matters worse, I lost all of my coins, including someone else, also got none of those coins whatsoever. Mainly with, like, Daisy, for instance, and also same applies to Peach as well. Although, speaking of such, what is Daisy able to do with this mini mushroom right there? Although, mind you, though, is the fact that she might able to actually get herself a low number, which... truth be told, she got a 2, and she also lands on the Bowser space as well, just like me. Oh boy. Wow. Although, to be fair though, I'm pretty sure that she will get like 10 coins from Mini Bowser, or Bowser, depending it shows up. Nope, it's still Mini Bowser again. But, at least, yeah, just 10 coins that she's got. Alrighty, so I suppose we should probably move on to the next minigame from this point right here. And, well, we only got 1 versus 3 minigame, and it's Fish and Drips, so... And unfortunately, I'm going to be on a team of 3 on this, so to be expected, I'm also able to lose this no matter what, just because, again, the button props usually sometimes feels a bit random for my taste, so I was expecting for this point right there, so I guess I might as well give it a chance. Alright, so at least I'm on the very end right there, so at least expecting I need to be super fast, although if not, then otherwise it might just be, well, kind of a nuisance whenever I manage to press the wrong button or anything else like that, so... Okay, something's worth mentioning though is the fact that one thing I totally forgot to mention ever since Journey Forms the past boards ago, mainly with like, well, let's just say in terms of, well, I already mentioned about the Forms of Toad's Midway Madness board was actually a 1-star difficulty, and as far as I haven't mentioned is that Shy Guys Jungle Jam board was actually got 1-star difficulty, meaning it's one of the easiest boards in the game, and Journey Forms of Boo's Haunted Bash, obviously that board has 2-star difficulty rating, and Goomba's Greedy Gullet does manage to retain 2-star difficulty, and Koopa Seaside Sorori, or Soiree, as far as I like to pronounce that, actually has 2-star difficulty, even though, if I like to call it a 3-star difficulty, mind you, just because of this very annoying which direction we want to go into kind of way. You know, with the forms of that random 50-50 chance with that particular Banana Junction point, that I might consider this to be a 3-star difficulty on this board sometimes, even though the game usually questions us just 2-star difficulty. And as far as the finale board, mainly with like Bowser's Gnarly Party, that board will be a 3-star difficulty, which we'll talk more about that whenever we get on to next Saturday, to be more specifically the 8th of May, all the way up to 9th of May, so... Yeah, I'm quite surprised that we're almost nearly at the end in terms of Mario Party 4, aside from the fact that, well, we still need to show off some extra stuff as to be expected, so... And it looks like Yoshi's about to go up, and I think he might be able to get his chance by getting himself his first star. So, that might be a bit of a coincidence, huh? Junior forms that specific luck, you know? And I believe in order able to actually access to the Boo house in this board is that I'm pretty sure you need to acquire a mini mushroom in order able to go for this little mini mushroom pipe. And because of that though, you really have to able to use the mini mushroom in order able to meet up with Boo. So, at least specifically in this board, along with the forms of any other boards as well. Like, for instance, one coming up next week, and I suppose that's pretty much about it. Oh yeah, and Shy Guys Jungle Jam as well. So these are the only boards that you can only use the mini mushroom to meet up with Boo. So, and it looks like Peach's coins has been taken, and obviously she's now back to 0 coins. So that might be seems a little bit unfortunate when it comes to Peach's department for her luck and everything. So beg yourselves can be choosers, I suppose, for her. So. Anyway, let's land on the blue space right here. And let's see what Daisy's gonna get. She gets an 8. And of course, she hasn't got enough coins. She was off by 10 coins, to be more specifically, to get, you know, her first star. And she might warp to someplace else. Although I'm pretty sure she might able to try to warp to right where Peach is. So, yeah, but I was right all along. Bash. Or crash, as far as I like to point that out. So, anyway, so 2 versus 2, animals versus the princesses in Cliffhangers. We haven't played Cliffhangers for such a long time now. At least ever since back in, well, let's just say in Toad's Midway Madness. That was the last time we played that minigame. So, anyways, let's begin. So, oh yeah, something worth mentioning for this point is the fact that, in terms of the Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time on the PC, they did make a really cool mod recently actually, by the forms of Mario in Crash Bandicoot 4, It's About Time mod, which I was like, that's actually pretty cool. Even though, mind you, I'm pretty sure the model was actually kind of feels like based off from Mario Sports Mix model or something, even though I wasn't really paying attention completely for that point, but as far as I can tell for that point, so... Okay, none of those winds continuously blowing at us yet, so, will they this time? Yes, they do, so even then, though, that it seems kind of weird at first, that if you remember the forms of, in Toad's Midway Madness board, or something like that, that, basically, that the wind only blows just once, and that's pretty much about it, whilst we simply managed to dominate the whole way through for the actual whole minigame, but, regardless of anything else, though, that's as far as I can say about it. Yay, Team Menimals wins. To be more specifically, an ape and a dinosaur. To be more specifically, Yoshi and DK, which, that seems kind of cool. We're able to actually play those two, cool animal kind of like Mario characters and stuff like that, so... Alright, so what's Yoshi gonna get? He gets an 8, and sure enough, he'll get himself his first star, so I might be alright with that. Especially noticeable that how the fact that, oh, I just realized that Yoshi got the Super Mega Mushroom. Although, to be fair though, he managed to purchase that from the shop, so... Yeah, I might be alright with that. Especially noticeable that he needs to get himself a lot of good rolls at that point, so... Alright, so the next star space is right near to that particular dock that usually appears to be a pineapple dock. That is someone next to it, so, God knows if someone's gonna make their way there, so, looks like Peach is gonna use her mini mushroom for, God knows, she's trying to able to land on that happening space, that's for sure, by able to actually go onto the other side of the board, and she gets a 5, so what space does she land on? Oh boy, we have a battle space. Of course, that's always gonna happen. But let's see how much coins we gonna bet on this time. At least it's 20, it's okay. I mean, usually it's a bit better than the 30 coins amount though, but still. And of course we're doing Butterfly Blitz, which might actually be the easiest minigames as well to win on, so assuming if you try to judge the actual angle with that, you know, the net controls and all that stuff though. Although I will say though, is the fact that this minigame is actually really easy to control than, well, obviously since Cheep Sweep, because Cheep Sweep is actually kind of garbage to control. Well, to be more specifically, that minigame in general sucks. So, along with, of course, Candlelight Flight, and of course, making waves with the unbalanced kind of way. And also to top it off, Hide to Go Boom as well. So, because of that though, yeah, I just don't know why. So... And yeah, I do apologize if the actual commentary itself gets a bit awkwardly quiet, especially noticeable because I always have to concentrate just trying to catch the most insane amount of butterflies I was going to be catching, and yeah, to be expected at that point, especially noticeable that this minigame almost reminds me of spring, like, you know, the flowers blooming and all that stuff, so yeah, there's not much else to say about this from there. Alright, so we all got 6 seconds left, and sure enough, I'm also able to win this. At least I hope so anyway, because I catch the insane amount of those blue butterflies as far as I'm concerned, so... Alright, so let's see how Yoshi's amount was, and he got 24, and Daisy was in 4th because she's got 22 butterflies. And Peach got 25, so she managed to win second place by 1 butterfly left, or, you know, just 1 butterfly ahead of Yoshi. So, that seems kind of close for between both Peach and Yoshi, that's for sure. And at least I managed to get 27 coins, so I might be alright with the forms of that specific amount, which... Again, I do apologize if my commentary gets a bit slightly iffy at points as well, because there were a few times I was gonna try to... Oh, no. Another battle game again. Oh, jeez. how much coins we're gonna bet on this time around, though. I'm really hoping it might actually be like 10 or lesser than that. But anyway, let's just get this over and done with. Although, to be fair though, much like sometimes in Boo's Haunted Bash, whenever I manage to play that board on my own time, I seriously swear to God, always just manage to able to play a whole bunch of battle games. Like, that sounds way plenty alike. But anyways, we're doing Rumble Fishing again, because that might be seems a little bit quicker than the forms of how it does it on the majority of the battle minigames for sure. Well, to be more specifically, Chain Chomp Fever, and also Butterfly Blitz. Although, we're still missing one battle minigame left, which we'll point it out if we come across into one. If we manage to play it, at least. But on the upside is, for me, I managed to got the biggest fish, so awesome stuff for me. But anyway. Alright, so how much coins will I get? I get 16 coins, so at least I got 10 back, plus 6, so that makes 16. So, I'm alright with that. Alright, so what is Daisy's gonna land on? Well, for one noticeable thing, she's probably not gonna land on a battle space, which I'm... Oh, will she ever get something lucky? And she got something lucky, which is of course the flipping star. Ah, jeez. I hate when computer players gets all very lucky for the star spaces or the stars on the hidden blocks. Although, then again, whenever we get onto Mario Party 5, Mario Party 5 will ditch the actual stars in the actual hidden block system throughout, so it'll just be strictly 10 coins as it is, so yeah, that's as far as I can say about that specific differences anyway. Alright, blame it on the crane. So, at least we're playing this minigame again. So, let's see how we're gonna do for this point. So, at least I'm now on the team of 1, so I can able to actually catch those opponents a lot easier for this point right here. At least I immediately managed to catch Yoshi for this point right here. Ah, I did it too early right there. Hopefully I might as well try that again in some form or another. Alright, come on, come on. There we... Ah, dang it, I did it way too late. Or, I'm sure enough that Peach might be able to actually escape in that time. But, at least I did manage to catch Peach properly, though. And now it's just you and me, Daisy. You and me. Although, still, kind of think about it. For those little, colorful balls, that's, depending on what characters you're using, still, it does remind me of the Super Monkey Ball 1 and Super Monkey Ball 2 vibe. That, basically, depending on how many players they are playing, at least specifically in Challenge Mode in, Super Monkey Ball 2, and, Normal Mode in Super Monkey Ball 1, that if you manage to set it to, like, 4 players or something, they usually do have, like, their different color, balls. Like, usually for player 1, always have the red ball, and then player 2 always have the blue ball, and player 3 has a yellow ball, and then obviously the player 4 always have the green ball. And oh wow, 23 that Yoshi's got, which I'm quite surprised that he actually got that a lot of dice rolls there, even for that, you know, really good rolls in that specific point. Anyway, about the fact of the matter is though, yeah, as I said this before, you can't bypass this part if you manage able to transform into your Mega form, which is a bit of a shame really, because otherwise you don't have to deal with the forms of some random bullcrap that's gonna be in front of you. Ah, dang it, he's gonna land on the battle space again! Ah, jeez. Let's see how much coins is it this time. That's 10 again, so I might be alright with 10 again, so let's see what minigame are we playing next. Ah, talk of the devil, we have the luck-based minigame. Well, we meet again after Mario Party 2. Players press these switches one by one, try not to be the one who sets off the bomb. And this is Bowser's Bigger Blast, and this is basically a sequel to Bowser's Big Blast from Mario Party 2. The only noticeable difference between the two is the visual presentation, which that might be seems the only difference between Mario Party 2 variation of this minigame compared to this. And aside from that though, it's still a pretty evil game as it is. Like, literally it's luck-based. Like, you can't really tell if you're able to actually be safe or not, if depending on the actual switches you activate. So, oh boy, I'm gonna have to activate the white one, aren't I? Whew, I'm safe here. But still, you can't really predict if you're able to get a win this or not, so... Okay, so Daisy's gonna choose the green switch. And she's out. And something's worth noting for is the fact that, I have no idea what's up with this frame rate right there every time when a bomb explodes. Although, if you're trying to able to play this on the emulator or something, or perhaps even mainly with the forms of, you know, just any other improvements or something, even though it has been a really long while since I actually watched these videos like these, because basically it's the fact that if you ever played this minigame on the actual GameCube hardware, that the frame rate actually chugs every time when the actual, you know, the Bowser bomb exploded. Although, until when if you ever play on the emulator or something, then it actually goes on to a normal speed, just like the forms of Mario Party 2. But, I don't know, it's just a little bit of a weird error right there. Ah! Damn it! Oh, I was so close to being first, but nope. Luck depending on the forms of, well, getting screwed. Fine, I'll let you win, Yoshi. Oh well. At least we did manage to play every single battle minigames though, at least, so... I guess that might be a perfect opportunity to able to save the luck-based minigame for later. Because sure enough, we actually played multiple times on, well, we did play Trace Race multiple times, and sure enough, we played Chain Chomp FIFA loads of times as well. So, even then though, that might be seems a little bit more of a too much coincidence anyway. Well, at least as far as I can usually describe about it. Alright, so it's my go, so let's see what number I can get. A 6. So, I'm hoping I don't land on the Bowser space though, because if I do, I'm gonna be really gonna be nerve-wracked any moment. But for now, we'll purchase the actual warp pipe for this point, and just trying to able to actually escape from this particular section if I'm out or not, so... Alright, please go down. Please go down. Please go down. Dang it! Fine, I'm gonna be on the Bowser space again. See, that's the thing about this board, it's just, you know, you can't really judge of where you're able to go. So, yeah, overall, not a big fan of this board. Even though it is better than saying, like, meh, or anything else like that. No, not the forms of that stupid characters in the Emoji Movie, because that movie sucks and blows. Although, mind you though, it's the fact that despite the actual box office success, which it doesn't make that much sense to me though, which I'm sure that Sonic is already noticing this ever since in Super Mario 64 DS, so yeah, that's as far as I can say about it. Alright, so Daisy got the Mega Mushroom, so that might be seems good for her, at least if depending if she doesn't skip over the star space entirely, so order up. Kind of a boring minigame, honestly. Even though despite the minigame, as I said, make a comeback in the top 100, which I have no idea why they choose that. But anyway, we're gonna have to find some of these foods right here, likely for soups, hamburgers, and French fries, or the ice cream, anything you can possibly think of. Although something's worth mentioning is the fact that if you're on the blue side team, if you do manage to win a minigame, somehow if you manage to able to play the English version of Mario Party 4, both the NTSC American release as well as the PAL release, you're still able to actually see that Japanese Toad's name, which I don't really remember what his name was, to be honest with you, because it has been a really long while since I actually did manage to look up on certain video footage of the Super Nintendo World Universal Studios in Japan amusement park. In fact, also, let me know in the comments below for the question of the day. What do you think about the forms of the Super Nintendo World amusement park? Did you like it there? Or did you experience it yet? And, or if you haven't experienced yet, just because of everything else going around the world. And, what do you think of that? Let me know in the comments, because I would like to hear your thoughts. Although I would like to go there, but unfortunately though, the world itself might be still unstable at the moment, and also everything else might be in Japanese language. So, although luckily they do have some English text here and there, So at least you can able to actually read English stuff and stuff like that. But yeah, that's as far as I can say about this.